The 19-year-old Bruce Lee was so brave that he dared to break into the gangster's house alone. Bruce Lee fought against violence and stood up for the people, but this cut off Wang Liqiao's financial resources. Wang Liqiao, a ruthless man, asked his younger brother to hit Bruce Lee with a motorcycle in a rage, wanting to kill him, which almost caused Bruce Lee to lose his life. So Bruce Lee couldn't bear it anymore, and he wanted to take revenge today. When Wang Liqiao saw Bruce Lee, he was very surprised. He thought Bruce Lee should still be in the hospital at this moment, but when he saw the angry Bruce Lee standing in front of him, he was really shocked. Wang Liqiao is indeed an old fox. He calmly explained that it was all a misunderstanding and invited Bruce Lee to come in and talk. Wang Liqiao thought he could successfully fool Bruce Lee again this time, but he didn't expect that miserable screams came from the house after a while. Then Bruce Lee also kicked the door open and jumped out. Even though he was surrounded by several thugs, Bruce Lee didn't have to spend much effort, and he easily solved them. Then the yellow-skinned boy came to fight Bruce Lee. It was obvious that the yellow-skinned boy had become Wang Liqiao's lackey. The two of them were also old enemies, but Bruce Lee's kung fu had improved greatly, and at this time, he was no longer Bruce Lee's opponent. Facing the obstruction of his father and Xiao Bo, Bruce Lee had no intention of stopping at all, and his anger was still burning. Until Ip Man came forward, Bruce Lee calmed down. Wang Liqiao was seriously injured, and he would not let Bruce Lee go, so he joined forces with the Hong Kong police who had already bribed him to arrest Bruce Lee. Fortunately, the police officer on duty that night was Xiao Bo's apprentice. Xiao Bo immediately synchronized the information to Bruce Lee's father and asked him to take Xiaolong out and hide quickly. Unexpectedly, as soon as they left the house, the police arrived with people, and Wang Liqiao's people followed closely. After the police searched, they found that Bruce Lee was not at home. After the police left, Bruce Lee sneaked up and knocked out Wang Liqiao's men who were guarding the door. After this incident, everyone understood the seriousness of the matter. It seemed that Wang Liqiao was determined to kill Bruce Lee. Xiao Bo also stood up and said, "This time, even if Bruce Lee doesn't want to go to the United States, he must go." Because he caused trouble and implicated so many people, Bruce Lee did not refuse this time. But now the police and Wang Liqiao's people have been squatting at the airport and the dock, and it is really difficult to leave Hong Kong. Fortunately, Bruce Lee's father came up with a trick, asking Bruce Lee to dress up as an actor and spread the news that Bruce Lee was going to leave Hong Kong by plane. After the police checked, the father immediately called Bruce Lee out. After he gave the last few instructions, Bruce Lee quietly boarded the cargo ship to the United States. After the ship slowly started, the old father finally let go. Bruce Lee was about to set foot on the land of another country. What would his future be like? Bruce Lee had just arrived in the United States and encountered racial discrimination when he took a taxi for the first time. Facing this ignorant driver, Bruce Lee didn't want to pay too much attention, so he lay down and fell asleep. But when Bruce Lee got up, he found that he was taken to the suburbs of Seattle. After he saw that the meter wanted $75, he realized that he had been cheated by the driver. Bruce Lee had no choice but to take out all the money he had and give it to the driver, and begged the driver to take him back. At this time, the driver agreed on the surface, but he didn't expect that he was still in acting school. When he started the car, he pretended that he couldn't start it. Then he asked Bruce Lee to help push the car down. Bruce Lee, who was not experienced in the world, was still too naive. After he pushed the car from behind, the driver immediately started the car and drove away. Now Bruce Lee could not go back, and even his luggage was taken away by the driver. Bruce Lee could only try to run back, but he didn't expect that retribution would come so quickly. The driver who had cheated Bruce Lee before was being punched and kicked by several gangsters, and even put him in front of the cutting machine. Bruce Lee happened to see it at this time, and he immediately stepped forward to stop it. The gangsters in front of him were simply ignorant of the world. They laughed at Bruce Lee, and even insulted Bruce Lee's mother with words. This completely angered Bruce Lee, which was unbearable. Bruce Lee kicked one person into the dump truck as soon as he came up, and the others took a long time to react before they dared to step forward. Finally, Bruce Lee dragged one man to the cutting machine. Bruce Lee saw that the gangster was frightened and begged for mercy, so he let him go. The other gangsters seemed to be seriously injured, and they did not dare to move forward, so Bruce Lee stopped. After Bruce Lee came out, the driver immediately followed him. Bruce Lee thought that the driver wanted to make trouble for him again, but the driver started to kneel down as soon as he got out of the car. Bruce Lee then realized that the person he had saved just now was the driver. The driver admitted that he had gone too far before and asked Bruce Lee to forgive him. The driver's name was Jesse, and from this moment on, he had been with Bruce Lee. After Jesse's apology, Bruce Lee finally forgave him. Jesse not only returned the luggage to Bruce Lee, but also sent him back for free. In order to survive, Bruce Lee picked up garbage during the day and washed dishes in the restaurant at night. His life was already difficult, but he was bullied by his compatriots in the kitchen. The reason why Chef Wang hated Bruce Lee so much was that since Bruce Lee came to the restaurant, his old lover Becky fell in love with Bruce Lee and even proposed to play poker with Bruce Lee at night. Although Bruce Lee did not want to be so ambiguous with Becky, Chef Wang kept all these things in his heart. The next day, an old customer came to the restaurant for dinner. He just took a bite and found that the dish was burnt. The boss heard the noise and rushed to check the situation. She picked it up and smelled it. She found that the dish was indeed burnt, so she waived the bill and apologized to the customer. Then, the boss took the dish and walked into the kitchen to question. Chef Wang's attitude made the boss very unhappy, and the boss continued to scold him. Seeing this, Chef Wang immediately shirked responsibility and let Bruce Lee take responsibility. Watching the two of them quarreling, the boss stood up and called for a stop. Unexpectedly, Chef Wang threatened the boss. He relied on the fact that the restaurant could not be without a chef suddenly, and he proposed to leave immediately. Bruce Lee did not want to embarrass his benefactor, so he proposed to leave. Chef Wang felt relieved after hearing this. The boss knew that Bruce Lee proposed to resign for the sake of the restaurant's operation, and even though she was reluctant, she still agreed. After the boss left, Bruce Lee closed the door and warned Chef Wang. Chef Wang actually wanted to pick up a kitchen knife to scare Bruce Lee. Chef Wang thought Bruce Lee was lying and mocked that he would beat Bruce Lee to death. Chef Wang and everyone else saw it, and they were so scared that they couldn't close their mouths. After this incident, the boss felt that Bruce Lee was even more amazing. He was able to think about the entire restaurant and put down his face. To thank Bruce Lee, the boss helped him find a school and even lent him $200. After Bruce Lee resigned from the restaurant, although he could go to school, he still needed a job to make a living. When he saw the recruitment advertisements on the street, almost all of them said that they did not want blacks and Chinese. Bruce Lee kicked the recruitment advertisement down in anger. At this time, Jesse, who was saved by Bruce Lee before, came over. He knew that Bruce Lee had lost his job, and he remembered a place to introduce Bruce Lee to. In the United States at that time, Chinese and black people could only do hard work. Under the scorching sun, Bruce Lee worked hard, and he was the equivalent of 3 coolies. When the boss came to pay the wages, the other workers began to complain that they were too little. When the boss paid Bruce Lee, he not only did not give less, but also gave him extra rewards. This immediately caused dissatisfaction among the others. Everyone came over with weapons. Because of Bruce Lee's appearance, they got less salary. So everyone surrounded Bruce Lee and taught him a lesson. Just when the others wanted to attack, Bruce Lee gave a domineering look, which frightened everyone. Bruce Lee angrily asked why he was driven away. The man knelt down and explained that his wife and children were sick. Bruce Lee was obviously a people-pleasing personality. When he heard that the man was so miserable, he actually gave all his salary today to the man in front of him. So Bruce Lee lost his job again. At that time, karate was the most popular fighting technique in the United States. Until Bruce Lee's appearance, the world really saw what Chinese Kung Fu was. At the school anniversary, Bruce Lee, who had performed Kung Fu, mocked karate as just a fancy trick, and he couldn't even stand steadily. However, Bruce Lee's speech directly angered the karate students present. Everyone rushed to the stage to teach Bruce Lee a lesson, but the first person who rushed forward was knocked away by him. In the blink of an eye, several people fell to the ground. Karate coach Yu Tian couldn't stand it. He walked onto the stage angrily, accused Bruce Lee of being arrogant. And this was exactly what Bruce Lee wanted. The audience cheered when they saw that there was a good show to watch. Yu Tian couldn't bear to see his own sign being smashed. He was determined to make Bruce Lee suffer. Yutian took the lead in attacking, but Bruce Lee easily caught his flaw and knocked him down. His own balls were almost broken by Bruce Lee. In the next two moves, Bruce Lee easily controlled Yutian. The audience applauded, and for the first time saw the power of Chinese Kung Fu. Yutian was almost fainted from the beating. He had never seen such boxing before, and he thought Bruce Lee was using witchcraft. Kimura, as the highest-ranked master in Seattle, faced Bruce Lee's provocation and knew it was time to take action. Soon, Yutian represented Kimura and sent a letter of challenge to Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee came to accept the challenge the next night. Many reporters heard for the first time that a Chinese challenged Kimura, and they all rushed to report. The referee also deliberately provoked. When he introduced him, he said that Bruce Lee was overestimating himself and challenging the respected Kimura. Bruce Lee could no longer bear it and made a promise to knock Kimura down within 30 seconds. Bruce Lee only took 11 seconds to defend the dignity of the Chinese. The next day, Kimura was waiting for Bruce Lee at the school gate. Bruce Lee did not have a good impression of this Japanese man, so he left in a hurry and ignored him. He didn't expect that Kimura was a man who never gave up. He came to Bruce Lee's residence at night, and he wanted to learn Chinese Kung Fu again. Seeing that Bruce Lee was still unwilling, Kimura directly asked to become his disciple. Bruce Lee was quite speechless about this. Bruce Lee's words made sense. Even though Kimura was scolded, he still wanted to learn Chinese Kung Fu again. After his repeated persuasion, Bruce Lee finally agreed to fight with him. This time, Bruce Lee said that he would stop at a certain point and would not hurt him. Kimura took the lead, but whether he used a high whip kick or a fist, Bruce Lee easily defended it and counterattacked. Although he lost, Kimura accurately felt Chinese Kung Fu this time. Bruce Lee also gave a detailed explanation. After listening to Bruce Lee's explanation, Kimura admired him. So he did something that no one expected. Kimura knelt down before Bruce Lee in front of his compatriots and Chinese people. Bruce Lee refused for a reason. First, Kimura was 35 years old at the time, while Bruce Lee was only 19 years old. Second, Kimura was still a Japanese, so he couldn't accept him as his apprentice. But what Bruce Lee never expected was that Kimura's determination was far more than that.